Hi everybody, I'm Dave with Family RV. Family RV is located down here in Morgan Hill, California. Today we're going to be doing a walkthrough with a 2022 Thor Ace 32.3. So let's take a look at it. Alright, so the 32.3 Thor Ace is a 50 amp plug. We're going to show you how to hook up this power cord. The power cord is going to be located on the driver's side, just right before the tire. So this is going to be your 50 amp plug right here. You are simply just going to open this up. We're going to connect our power cord in like this. We're going to lock it into position. Here's your end of your 50 amp cord. This is a 50 amp right here. So most campsites should have 50 and 30 amp. If you cannot get a 50 amp, you might want to get this plug right here, which converts 50 to 30. Go ahead and plug it in at your campsite. Make sure the breakers are turned on. Make sure this little green light and blue light are on. You could always check the microwave to make sure the microwave's on to let you know that you're getting power. The next step we're going to want to do after hooking up our electrical at our campsite is we're going to hook up our city water connection with our water hose. This is also going to be located on the driver's side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our water hose. We're going to connect this end into the city water connection. We're going to make sure it's nice and tight. To tighten this guy up, you're going to go counterclockwise like so. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then we're going to take our other end. Now you'll notice the other end has this brass adapter on here. This is a water pressure regulator. We need to have this water pressure regulator on the hose. It regulates the water pressure going in. You're going to hook up the water pressure regulator to the water source at your campsite, nice and tight, and then you're going to turn the water on, and this is going to be your water supply while you're camping. Now make sure the water pump is off if you have a water hose connected. Alright, next we're going to be showing you how to hook up your sewer hose to the 32.3. The sewer hose connection is going to be located again on the driver's side in this storage compartment between the electrical and the water hose. We're going to simply open up this compartment right here. We have two valves, black and gray. Black is for the toilet, gray is going to be for the shower, sink, and actually the black could also be for the bathroom sink, so that will also fill up your tank. So what we're simply going to do, we're going to move this out of the way. Simply going to unscrew this cap right here. That's going to allow us to put the sewer hose underneath. We're going to remove this cap right here, set that aside. This is movable, so we're going to gently move it up and down just to get our hose connected. So we're going to push this down. We're going to grab this end of the sewer hose. We're going to put it underneath, and we're going to lock it into place like so. Okay? So, after you've connected this right here at your campsite, you're going to want to put this end inside the sewer hole at the campground. Once you do that, you're set up. Now, once you hook up your sewer hose, you're always going to leave your black and your gray closed. Just because you're hooked up to a sewer line does not mean you can open these and leave them open. These are gravity-fed tanks, so we want these closed until your tank levels reach about 2/3 or full. Once they reach 2/3 or full, and we're going to go over that levels up inside a little bit later. Once your levels reach full or 2/3, you're going to come out here and you're simply just going to pull that guy, and all the waste is going to come out. Okay? After the black is done coming out, you can go ahead and pull the gray. The gray is going to help flush out this hose a little bit better. Now, once you've had this pulled and this is dumped, your sensors inside may still read 1/3 or 2/3. What happens is paper gets stuck to the little sensors inside the black tank, and it acts as if it's still reading. So when you have that, we have this over here, what's called a Santy Flush. The Santi Flush's purpose is to help flush out the black tank. You can simply hook up a hose to the Santi Flush while the black valve is still open. Once you hook up a hose to the Santi Flush, go ahead and turn the water on. Verify water is coming out through your sewer hose with the 90-degree clear elbow. Once you verify water is coming out, you could actually close the black valve for a little bit. You want to fill up the black tank to around 1/3 or 2/3 and then pull it again. And that's gonna help flush out that black tank and get that sensor unstuck. I usually do it till it's clear water. Make sure you do not get distracted if you close this. It will start filling up the black tank, and if you get distracted and don't pay attention, water will start coming out from the toilet. So always be aware of that. So let's recap on this real quick. Black is pulled, gray is pulled, sewer hose is connected. Now my sensor is stuck at 1/3 or 2/3. I'm gonna go ahead and hook up a hose to the Santy Flush, nice and tight. We're gonna turn the water on. We're gonna verify water is coming out of the hose. We're gonna close the black valve just for a little bit. We're gonna fill it up to about 1/3 or 2/3, and then we're gonna pull. Water's gonna come out again, and once it's empty, we're gonna do it one more time. Close it, fill it up to about 1/3 or 2/3, and then pull it, and you should be good. Inside the compartment where we connected our sewer hose, you're gonna notice there is an outdoor shower. It just simply runs off the regular water, whatever you're hooked up to, whether it's city water or you're running off of your fresh water. It's just an outdoor shower to rinse off whatever you need to rinse off. All right, now that we hooked up our electrical, sewer, and water at our campsite, we're gonna go ahead and start setting up the coach. We're gonna put the levelers down first, and then we're gonna push the slide out. To put the levelers down, you have to be inside and the engine has to be running, so let's go inside and do that. All right, now that we've set up our sewer, electrical, and water, we're gonna start setting up the leveling jacks on the coach. This is the next step after you hook up all those configurations. To put the levelers down, you're gonna need to turn the vehicle on. We're gonna put the parking brake down. The parking brake needs to be down. And then we're gonna come over here to the left side of the driver's seat where it says LCI Electronic Leveling System, okay? We're gonna go ahead and turn the electronic leveling system on. There's gonna be an orange light indicating that it is on. The next step to do that, after that, is we're gonna go ahead and hit the auto button. And the auto button, once it lights orange, is gonna start putting the levelers down. Now let's go outside and watch those levelers come down. So this is the leveling system going down in the back. It's gonna go ahead and level itself out. It's gonna do its own thing. We're just gonna make sure that everything came down properly. So we're over here on the passenger side of the coach, and we're gonna take a look under here at the leveling jacks. Once the vehicle stops moving, that's when the levelers are done and it's leveled out. Now, you always want to be on flat surface. You never want to be on any kind of grade or anything. Being on a grade, putting the jacks down, can lift these tires off the ground and it can damage the jacks. So let's make sure we're on level ground at all time when the jacks come down. Once the jacks stop moving, the coach stops rocking, then you know you are level. The next step to do is go ahead and turn the LCI electronic leveling system off, and then we're gonna push out the slide with the vehicle running. All right, so after we put the levelers down, we're gonna come back in here and we're gonna shut the electronic leveling system off, and then we're gonna go to the control panel and we're gonna put the slide out with the vehicle on. All right, to put the slide out, we're over here at the control board next to the refrigerator. Let's take a look right here. We're gonna see a button to the left-hand side that says slide extend and retract. We are gonna push the slide out. Remember, the vehicle needs to be on. When you push the slide out, make sure there are no heavy objects on the slide and nobody is sitting on the slide when you're pushing it out. Make sure everything is clear. We're gonna simply hold this button up until the wall fully comes out. Now you need to hold this button continuously until the wall stops by itself. Always make sure you're clear outside of any trees or any kind of buildings or whatever. Always make sure that that front seat is all the way clear and it's not touching the slide. All right, once the slide stops, you are completely set up with your sewer, electrical, and water. We put our levelers down and then we push the slide out. We can go ahead and turn the vehicle off and take the keys out of the ignition. All right, we've already set up this whole coach. Now we're gonna go through this control panel and to go into a little detail of what these buttons mean, okay? The control panel looks like a lot of buttons. It's a lot easier than what it looks like. For example, you got your leveling buttons right here. Now each button you press will tell you exactly how much you have in that tank. For example, LPG is liquid propane. If we push the propane button, it's going to tell us how much propane is actually in the tank. Right now it's reading empty. If it was full, the red light would light up right here, 1/3, 2/3, and full. All 4 red lights would be lit on. The next button is going to be your battery button. Right now our battery for our coach batteries are reading 2/3. That means our batteries are 2/3 charged. Next is your fresh water. This button tells you how much fresh water is in your onboard reservoir. Now when you have water filled in your reservoir, that is if you're driving and you don't have any water, that tank is going to be your water supply. To pump the water out of the fresh water tank, you're simply going to turn the water pump on. The water pump will pump the water out of the fresh water, allowing you to have access to water in the toilet, showers, and sinks. Now, when you're driving, you always want to make sure this water pump is turned off. Only when you're going to need it is when you should turn it on. Now, this water pump could also be used for when you're dry camping and when you don't have a water hose, okay? The next button is going to be your black tank. The black tank is reading empty right now. This is where I was talking about when we hooked it up. So if your black tank reaches 2/3 or full, that's when you're going to dump it. You're going to go out there and you're going to pull the black valve. Now once you pull the black valve, like I said, your sensor might get stuck on 1/3. That's where the Santy Flush comes in. Refer back to the video of the beginning to know how to Santy Flush. The next button is going to be your gray water tank. Both tanks will reach 2/3 almost at the same time, but not always at the same time. So this is your gray water, which is reading empty. When this also gets full, you can go ahead and dump it. Water heater. There are 2 sides to the water heater. When you are not hooked up to electrical, you will use the LP gas water heater. That's the propane water heater. If you have to use the LP gas water heater because you're not hooked up to electrical and you're not hooked up to water, you're going to make sure the water pump is on. This needs to be on if you're using the LP gas, okay? So let's say you're not hooked up to electrical, you're not hooked up to a water hose, and you need hot water. You're going to simply turn the water pump on and turn the hot water heater on, LP side. You're going to give it about 20 to 30 minutes to get hot. Now, if you need hot water and you're plugged into electrical, you can go ahead and use your 110 side electrical water heater. If you're hooked up to 110, your electrical, and you're hooked up to a water, you do not need the water pump on. The water pump is only for when you are not connected to a city water hose. All right, next on the control panel, we're going to talk about the generator. 4 things will not work unless you're plugged in with the electrical on the exterior. 4 things will not work unless you're plugged in or unless the generator is on. The TV, the air conditioning in the house, the microwave, or any electrical outlets in the coach. Those 4 things will not work unless you're plugged in or unless the generator's on. If you are not plugged into electrical and you need to use those 4 things, you're going to turn the generator on. To turn the generator on, you're going to take a look right here. There's a start and stop button. What we're going to do is we're going to prime the generator first. And to prime the generator, you're going to simply hold the stop button down. We're going to wait for this red light to go on. Once the red light goes on, that means the generator's primed. We're going to release it, and we're going to hold the start button down until the generator starts. There you go. The generator has started. Now, when the generator starts, we're going to listen to see when the microwave beeps. Once the microwave beeps, that is the signal to let us know that the load is on the generator, and we're going to be able to use the TV, the air conditioning, the microwave, or any outlets. It's going to take a while for the microwave to kick on, so we're going to give that a few minutes, and once it kicks on, then we'll know we're good to go. Always remember, if your generator is not starting, it could mean one thing. Your fuel on the vehicle is at 1/4 tank of gas. If your fuel on the vehicle, there goes the microwave, beeped, that's how long it takes. If you only have a 1/4 tank of gas on the vehicle, the generator will not start. The generator runs off the same fuel as the vehicle. And what that does is to shut, if you're at a 1/4 tank of gas, it shuts the generator off so you don't run out of fuel to get to your next destination and to fuel up. So always remember that. If your generator's not starting, it could mean that you only have a quarter tank of gas left. All right, to turn the generator off, you are simply gonna hit the stop button and the generator will go off. All right, next we're gonna just look at the controls for the furnace and for the air conditioning. And that's gonna be located right below the control panel. It's pretty easy. It's just like your one at home. It's gonna go to mode. We're gonna turn it on. This is gonna say fan on. And hit mode again. It's gonna say auto fan. Mode again, and it's gonna hit furnace. Mode again, and it's gonna go to off, okay? So let's run by that again. Mode is fan on, auto fan cool. See where it says cool? That is the air conditioner. Hit mode again. It's gonna say furnace, and you can adjust the temperatures for the air conditioning or the furnace right here. And you can go ahead again, and it's gonna say off. So basically, you're only hitting the mode button to get wherever you want to be, whether it's the furnace, air conditioning, or fan, and adjust your temperatures right here. All right, in your 32.3 Ace, this is gonna be your refrigerator. It does have a freezer at the top, and it does have the fridge at the bottom. Plenty of space, okay? This refrigerator will be set for you. It will be set on auto, and it has the temperatures right here for the freezer and for the fridge. If you want to adjust those, you can be able to adjust those. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about, is your 3-burner stove. You're going to notice on the stove, it is a glass that you have to lift up. This acts as a backsplash for when you're cooking. This is not a glass cooktop, so always try to remember that. You got 3 burners right here. To simply turn your burners on, you're gonna simply turn the flame to the arrow, and then you'll use the igniter to light it until the pilot lights. Now there's no propane in this coach right now, so it's not gonna ignite, but that's all you gotta do. Turn it to light and start igniting it, follow the arrows, and it will light up. Your oven is also the same. The oven has its own dial right here. It's gonna say off. You're gonna turn it to light again. You're gonna actually push this one in to get the propane going, and then you're gonna start igniting the flame, which it'll light the pilot underneath here. Once the pilot is lit, you can turn your oven to whatever temperature you want it at, and it'll start warming up. Once you turn this off, the pilot light will go off, and you'll have to reignite it again. This button right here is just a couple lights for effects and stuff. Now remember, after you're done cooking, do not put the glass top down. Wait for the stove top to cool down because it can shatter the glass. So we'll put it down simply like that, like so. All right, to maximize your seating in this coach after you set up, we're gonna teach you how to swivel these chairs around. These are captain's chairs, and they can swivel around, so you have more people in here trying to converse or whatnot, hanging out. So let's do that. There is a bar on the driver's seat and the passenger seat. That bar is gonna be located on the right side of the seat, the driver's seat, this bar right here. You're gonna simply push the bar back, and the seat will swivel. Now you're gonna have to adjust the forward and back for the seat to turn around all the way. And to do that, there's another bar on the other side in the front underneath the seat right here, which will allow you to pull the seat forward and back. Now remember, you cannot swivel the chairs while the vehicle is in motion. The seats can only be swiveled when you are stationary. Next, we're going to be showing you how to put down the over cab bed, which is right here. We're going to simply come over here to the entry door, and you're going to notice there are a couple keys hanging right here. The key is hanging in here, it says off. We're going to simply turn the key to on position, and then the bed raise and lower. We're going to go ahead and just hit lower, and the top over cab bunk bed is going to come down. All right, now that the bed is down, Let's make sure we watch and read the warning labels, the caution labels. This is only a maximum load of 250 pounds. So most kids can sleep up here and one adult. All right, now there is a ladder that goes for the overcab bunk, and we're gonna go ahead and grab that. It's gonna probably be stored on one of the bunk beds back here. So let's go take a look at that. The longer ladder is going to be for the overcab bed. So we'll come on over here. We'll set this guy up right here, and that will be the ladder to get on the overcab bunk. All right, we're gonna take a look at this area right here where the couch is at. We're gonna be turning this couch into a bed. It's pretty easy. It's a jackknife bed. You're simply just gonna lift the bed up, and it'll turn into a bed. To put it back up, you just simply put it up, move the cushions a little bit, and it goes back into a couch. Now that we're still in this area right here, right above the couch, you're gonna have a speaker, a USB port. Now the USB ports, those run off of the house batteries. You do not need to be plugged in, and you do not need the generator on for these USBs. So if anybody wants to charge their devices while you're driving, you simply plug them in right there and it starts charging. Right next to this USB port right here, we're just gonna have a light. They simply just click it on right there. The windows right here, to open up the windows, there's a little opener right here. You're simply just gonna twist to open up the windows to get some airflow and close them off. These screens do not come off. Do not try to take them off. To pull the blinds down, real easy. All you're gonna do is pull them down just like that. To push them up, you're gonna push them up right there. Underneath the other side of the couch, there's another light switch right here. And there is a outlet right here. Now remember, this outlet, you have to be plugged in or the generator has to be on. And then we have another speaker right here, and we have some storage right here. And we have a DVD player, and we have some configurations that we're gonna go over in a little bit. All right, next we're gonna talk about this, what's called a dream dinette. The reason why it's called a dream dinette, because it's a dinette and it's also a bed. So, this dream dinette will have two seat belts, one on this side and one on this side, and it also has the child tether right behind the cushion right here. Now, to turn this into a bed, you're simply going to remove this backing cushion. We'll set that right there. We're going to remove the other back cushion. It's Velcroed on, just like so. We're also going to lift up these cushions that are also Velcroed on. We'll lift that up right there. We'll come over here. We'll lift this up right here. Now we're going to take a look underneath the table. There's going to be a little bar. This bar is locked in right over here by this white plastic piece. To put the table down, you're simply just going to move the bar down so it's facing the floor, and you're going to push on the table down. Next, you'll get these cushions, and we're going to fill in the space to make the bed. We'll put that right there. Put that cushion right there. And this one just goes kind of like this. And there's your dream dinette bed. Now let's break it down and put it back up. We're going to take this cushion back off. We'll take this cushion back off. We'll put this cushion up. This one up. And then we're going to pull the table up, put both hands right here, and then you'll kind of just bring it up. We're going to come back underneath here, and we're going to make sure that the bar is locked in right there and the table is secure. And then we will place the cushions back together like so. And you can put the seat belts through the little slots right there where they go. We'll put it back like this. Backing right there. And backing right there. Alright, on your dinette table, you have some storage drawers right here. Another one right here. We're going to move on to the kitchen area right here. You have some drawers right here. More drawers. underneath storage right here for a trash can. You have your sink right here. Right above the sink, you're gonna have some buttons, these black buttons right here. One is gonna be for a fan back here to get some airflow when you are cooking. The fan will go on, and to open up this vent, you simply just open this knob like so. Now, when you are driving, make sure this vent is closed. It will catch the wind and it can break. So this is only to be open when you are stationary. All right, let's move back over here to these buttons over here. The first one was a fan switch. The next one is gonna be a light switch. The next one over here is gonna be another light switch for the dinette. And this guy right here is gonna be a light switch for right here. Now, we didn't see this light switch right here. This light switch is gonna light up the counter. So you got a little bit of accent light right there. All right, bunk beds. Let's talk about bunk beds. We got 2 bunk beds right here in the top bunk, and also on the lower bunk, there is a light switch for whoever is sleeping right here. You can lift up this cushion right here. You will have a little bit of storage space to store books or whatnot in there. Window shades are the same right here. Go ahead and lift them up, and you can twist these open to open up the window. Each bunk bed does have a tablet holder for the kids if they want to have their tablet right here. There's also an outlet right here. Remember, you need to be plugged in or the generator needs to be on for this outlet to work. Down here, you have a USB port to charge the devices right here. The USB ports, remember, you do not need the generator on and you do not need to be plugged in. The USB ports run off the house batteries. The ladder will be located on one of the bunk beds. This is the smaller ladder to climb up to the top bunk right here. All right, right across from the bunk beds, we're gonna have the bathroom. The bathroom door is closed, so let's take a look to see how we open this. Just simply follow the yellow sticker right here. You're gonna actually push this guy down, and that unlocks, open up, and you have the bathroom. Let's talk about the bathroom. Come on in. The bathroom has a switch right here for a light, and it also has a fan switch right here. Same as the fans before, always make sure that this vent is closed while you're transporting. All right, there is another switch up here for the fan. We're gonna leave that switch alone. We're just gonna focus on this fan switch right here to turn the fan on if needed. Light switch right here. You got some storage space down over here with a little bit of counter spot right here. And then we have a toilet right here. We're gonna go ahead and lift this up. And right here where my foot is at is the foot pedal to flush the toilet. Now, this is a new coach, so there's no water in it right now. But what you can do when there is water in here, your foot right here, you could actually half step this pedal and the toilet will start filling up with water just like a regular home toilet. And then you can release it, and then you flush all the way down. Make sure that paper goes all the way down. Bathroom, here is your sink right here. There's a plug right here. There's also some storage space under here with a medicine cabinet right here. Now, behind the faucet, there is another plug. This plug has a reset button for a GFI. If any of your outlets pop the breaker, you're gonna wanna check this guy first for the reset and reset it right here. If this doesn't work, you're gonna check your breakers, which we're gonna go over in a little bit. All right, this is your shower. You're gonna simply lift this latch up like this. You're gonna go ahead and open it right here. This is your water saver for your shower. This is gonna help not fill up your tank so fast, and it's gonna help save the hot water. Remember, this is only a 6-gallon hot water tank, and it will go fast. This button will allow you to shut off the shower, rinse off, lather up, rinse off, and you are done. This is a military style showers. All right, we're gonna always make sure that these shower doors are secure when you are transporting so they're not moving back and forth. All right, we're gonna be moving into the bedroom. Same door as the bathroom. You're gonna simply push that guy down to open it up. And let's talk about this bedroom and what's everything that's in here. Now, over here at the entry, you're gonna notice there is a little black thing right here. This is the carbon monoxide propane detector. If your batteries are dying and you're not plugged in, this thing will start beeping. So if you hear a chirp, that means your batteries are going dead. If you're plugged in, you're fine, it shouldn't beep. Down over here below the bed, you're gonna have your breakers. These breakers are for all the appliances and everything right here. So if anything is not working, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is make sure the breakers are all on. Right next to the breakers, we have all your fuses. More 15 amp fuses for anything like that, okay? All right, in the side nightstand for the bedroom, you're gonna have some USB ports, and you're also gonna have a 12-volt plug right here with some storage drawers right here. We're gonna move on over here. We do have a TV in here. We're gonna go over the TVs in a little bit and how to turn them on and how to run the stations on here. There is some storage behind the TV right here. On this dresser top right here, we do have some more USB ports and the outlets right here. Lines go up nice and easy with a little window that you can open up. And we got some switches. Gonna be a light switch right here. And this is also gonna be a light switch right here. Back here, we're gonna have another, this is only for the air conditioning in the bedroom. This is not a furnace. This is only for the air conditioning, and you can turn the air conditioning. This coach is equipped with 2 air conditionings. All right, let's come back over here. We're gonna have some closet space. Inside the closet, you're gonna have a table with a post. This is meant to be put in between the driver's seat and the passenger seat. You simply just put the post right in the hole right there. You take the tabletop off and put it right on the post right there, and you have a little coffee table up there for the front. Right below the closet, we have some more storage drawers right here. And we also have an emergency exit right here. This window should not be opened up unless it's an emergency. Got some more storage up there with some lights up there. Underneath this bed, there is a lot of storage under here to put suitcases or clothes or blankets or whatnot. All right, we're gonna be talking about how to set up these TVs to watch. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the TV on. It will go on. Next, we're gonna put the TV source from the remote control to TV. So we're gonna hit that right there, and we're gonna click select TV. Then we're gonna go to menu on the remote control, and you're gonna see some different setups right here. We're gonna use the arrows on the remote control to scroll over to channel. And then we're gonna use the arrow to go down to put it on air. And then we're gonna auto scan the channels and start to scan. Now what this is gonna do, it's gonna scan all the channels with the antenna to try to pick up as many stations as we can. Now this is over the air. You may not get stations. You may get a few of them. Now when we're searching the channels over the air from the TV, right above the couch in this storage compartment, there is a little green light right here with a button. This green light on means we are searching the channels over the air. Now, if you have external cable at your campsite, you're gonna wanna search the channels on cable. So let's do that, but before you search the channels on cable, you're gonna make sure the green light is off. The green light has to be off to search channels on the cable. So let's come back over here to the TV. So let's say we're hooked up to external cable outside, and we're gonna show you where that's at in a little bit. We're hooked up to external cable at our campsite, such as KOA or whatnot. We're gonna go ahead and go to menu. We're gonna scroll to channels on the remote control. We're gonna go down to air and cable, and we're gonna switch the air to cable. Then we're gonna go down to auto scan, start scan, and that's gonna start scanning the cable channels. Remember, the green light has to be off to search channels on cable at your campsite. Let's go take a look to see outside the coach on the driver's side of where that external cable hookup is gonna be. Come on. If you're searching and using cable channels, your coax cable connection is going to be right under your power cord. It's going to be this little square thing right here. You're simply going to squeeze that open, and you can hook up an external cable. This cable will run from the coach to your campsite if they have cable. And then, like I said earlier, we're going to go to menu. We're going to search the channels on cable, and we're going to make sure that little green light is off. All right, in the storage compartment right above the couch, there is a DVD player. The DVD player will play only on the TV above the dinette and the external TV. There is an external TV on this. We'll see that in a little bit. There are two HDMI plugs. One is going to be for the inside TV and one is going to be for the outside TV, depending on where you want to watch the movie. It will only play on these two TVs. So you'll have to just unplug whichever one on the back of this DVD player, just like a regular DVD player at home, and it'll start watching the TV on whichever one you have plugged in. All right, we're going to be going over some buttons right here at the entry door next to the steps. So let's take a look. These are going to be for the furnace right here. This is a generator, automatic generator start button. So if you turn this, enable that on, the generator will kick on if you're dry camping. The generator will kick on when your battery starts to get low. It'll automatically turn on. When you are not dry camping or you're not on the road, this should always be off. Down here we have some more light buttons right here. And then we have another light button right here. These will all be labeled later. This is a battery disconnect button. This should always be on if you're in this coach. This is to turn the battery disconnect off when we are storing the unit. Here's another step light right here. And here's a step button right here. Every time you open and close the screen door, the step down there will come in and out. So when you're stationary at your campsite, you want to turn the step off so that step's not going in and out every time somebody opens up the door. And then next right here, we have our awning button. We're gonna go ahead and push the awning out. We're gonna push it out and the awning is gonna start coming out. There we have the awning coming out. Remember, this awning is not windproof. It is not rainproof. Use your good judgment, bring it in. I usually don't leave it out overnight. If I'm gonna be in a windy area, I never know when that gust of wind's gonna come. We're gonna pull the awning out till we see a little flap. Once that flap comes down, this is a new unit, so it's gonna be sticking. We're gonna roll it back. Here's that flap. That's where you wanna stop, okay? Now make sure when you roll it in, you just follow the instruction on the awning button to roll it back in. Pretty big awning. Nice shade. All right, this 32.3 coach has two locks. One is a deadbolt and one is a regular lock. All right, we're gonna go ahead and close this right now. We're gonna take a look at the keys. All right, this coach is gonna come with several keys. One is an ignition key that's gonna say the Ford on there. It's gonna come with this key right here. It's going to be for the hood, for service, to access the hood for any kind of services. And then we have a purple key and we have a gray key. They're similar. The purple key is going to be for both locks on the entry door to lock. Now, if it doesn't turn, we're not going to force the key. We're going to simply push the door in to lock it. Okay, and it'll lock. Then we're going to do the bottom lock right here and also lock that right there. Okay, don't force the key. Like I said, these are sensitive keys. This gray key right here is gonna be to all the compartment locks on the exterior storage compartments. Always make sure that these storage doors are locked before you start driving, because vibration can open up these ones and then your door will start swinging open. Now let's go over the storage compartments. We're going to start on the passenger side and we're going to walk all the way around and we're going to see what each storage compartment is. The first storage compartment on the passenger side in the front is going to be a storage compartment for anything that has to do with servicing the batteries, the hydraulic pump, and the hydraulic fluid. The next compartment, this is the outdoor TV. Simply open up this guy and it also has a sound bar right here that you can also Bluetooth your phone to and have music on site. This guy right here actually pulls out and you can swivel the TV whichever way you want. We'll close this up. The next storage compartment is going to be the propane. Now you're going to notice the propane is the only one without a lock. That is for emergency purposes. if something happens to the coach, catches on fire or whatnot, somebody needs to be able to access the propane door and come and shut the valve off. This valve right here, clockwise, is closed. Counterclockwise is open. Now, if you're at a campsite or whatnot, you cannot fill your propane yourself. You'll have to be propane certified. Most campsites will fill it up for you. Let's keep moving right here. This is the furnace exhaust right here. This gets pretty hot. Make sure no kids touch that. Here's some outlets right here to hook up whatever you need to. Some more storage in here. Each storage compartment will have a light switch. Now, always make sure these lights are turned off, especially if you are dry camping. Those will drain your batteries eventually, but not too bad. Here's some more storage right here. Inside this storage compartment, you're gonna see a valve. This valve is to empty out your fresh water tank. Your fresh water tank fill is right here. Now, this fresh water tank fill is for if you're dry camping. This is your water supply. This is where you fill up that tank that you're gonna be using for the water pump. When you turn the water pump on, you're on the road, you don't have access to city water, you wanna pull over and use the water, this is where the water is gonna come out of. You simply just put a hose right in there, and once it starts overflowing right here, then your water tank is filled up. All right, so that's to drain out the water right there for that tank right there. Let's keep moving on. You'll notice this right here. This is a quick connect to tap into your propane if you have an external barbecue pit. Here's some more storage back here. It goes all the way through for fishing poles or whatnot. Let's roll around the side. It goes all the way through. That's the same storage. Right over here, we have the generator access door. Let's talk about this generator real quick. This generator has a breaker inside. What that means is if you're using the generator and the generator is running, but you can't use the air conditioning and the microwave never beeped, it's not going on, you might have popped the breaker inside the generator. So to access that breaker, you're gonna simply turn these guys. You're gonna take this cover off, and here's that breaker right there. Sometimes this breaker will get tripped, and you'll know if it's tripped if the generator, like I said, is running, but no outlets are working, and the TV won't go on or anything like that. Come check this breaker after you've checked all the breakers inside. It could be this guy. Always make sure if you do have to access this to reset that breaker, make sure that this thing is on secure where it needs to be, and it turns and it's back in lock position. Let's keep moving on. All right, this is just the sewer that we talked about earlier to hook up our sewer line with our electrical. Here is our city water connection right here. Here's some more storage with a light on. And then here's some more storage underneath here. And then the last one's gonna be the storage right here. All right, so now we're gonna start teaching you how to break this thing down. We showed you how to set up. Now let's go through the proper steps to break it down when you're leaving your campsite. All right, how to break down your coach before you leave your campsite is we're gonna usually come over here and start with the water hose and disconnect this guy, the sewer hose, and the electrical. Make sure you turn the water off first, and then you'll simply just clockwise disconnect the water hose. You'll put it to the side. Next, we'll come over here and we will disconnect our electrical from the coach, and then we'll also disconnect it from the campsite plug-in. We'll set that aside. And then next, we will disconnect our sewer hose. Make sure you're always wearing gloves when you're handling this guy right here. I don't have gloves on just because it's a new coach, and we'll go from there. We're gonna simply make sure the valves are closed. We're gonna disconnect the hose, and then we're gonna turn this guy up. We're gonna make sure the cap is on, and then we're gonna make sure that this little cap right here also goes back on, and it's secured. So now we've disconnected our electrical, our water, and our sewer, and we're gonna close that up. Next, we're gonna go inside, and we're gonna start breaking the coach inside down. So let's go take care of that. All right, we're gonna start breaking down the coach. We've already disconnected our electrical, and we put it in the storage compartment. We've disconnected our city water connection and put it in the storage compartment, and we also did the same thing for our sewer hose. We put it in the storage compartment. Now we're gonna start breaking this guy down. This bed we're gonna put up. Remember, if that bed does not go up or down, when this key is on, it probably means you still have the keys inside the ignition. This bed will not go up or down if you have the keys inside the ignition, so make sure the keys are out. We're gonna simply raise this up. Putting the bed up, it's gonna go up really slow. And you can also put this bed up if you're still hooked up to electrical. You don't have to do it in the order, but you do want to disconnect everything before you leave. We're going to wait for it to hit the magnets. And then we're going to turn the key to off position. Now, when we set up this coach, we put the levelers down first, and then we push the slide out. Now it's the opposite. We're going to actually put the slide in first, and then we're going to put the levelers up. Make sure that this aisle is all clear of any luggage or anything, and nobody is on the slide out when you're closing the slide. So to pull the slide in, we're going to turn the vehicle on. We're going to give it a minute, give it a second, and then we're going to come back over here to our control panel, and we're going to hit the retract button, and we're going to hold that down until the slide fully closes. Now, before we actually do this, let's backtrack, and we're always going to make sure that the driver's seat is pushed all the way forward so the slide does not damage this seat. So it looks like we're clear. So let's go put the slide in. Retract. We're going to hold it down until the wall stops. All right, now that we've finished closing the slide, we're going to come back over here to the driver's seat, and we're going to put the jacks up. And with the vehicle still running and the parking brake is still down, do not release the parking brake if the jacks are down. That is an emergency release. The jacks will shoot up really fast and it can damage them. So just let's follow the steps. So slide came in, and now we're going to put the jacks up. Vehicle is on, parking brake is down. We're going to come back to the LCI electronic leveling system. We're going to turn it back on. Orange light's going to be on. Next button, we're going to put the jacks up. We're going to retract all jacks. We're just going to hit that button right there, and the jacks are going to go up by themselves. And then we're going to go outside and make sure the jacks fully came up. All right, so those are the front jacks right there. We're going to check all 4 jacks. If the jacks are up like that, that means the jacks are all the way up. Once the jacks are up, we can go ahead and pull the parking brake, and we're good to go. Let's talk about this front cab and all the configurations on here while we're here. We're actually going to shut this back off, and we're going to talk about these buttons over here. You got a USB port right here to charge your phone. Phone goes right there. Mirror heat right here. Left and right for your side mirrors to adjust them. Now this left and right will only adjust the top mirror. The blind spotters right here, you're going to have to move by hand. Over here, we have an emergency start. For example, if you leave the keys in the ignition and your chassis battery goes dead and your house batteries are charged, we're going to actually put the key in the ignition, and then we're going to turn the key, and we're going to hold this emergency start and turn the key at the same time. That is only if your chassis battery goes dead and you need a jump from the house batteries. Over here to your left, the driver's side left over here, you do have your lights. Always travel with your lights on, even during the day, but also remember to turn them off. On the steering wheel right here, we have different configurations. The arrows right here will help you adjust whatever you need to right here to see the mileage, miles per hour, and stuff like that. I'm going to turn this off. Right over here, we have the configuration of the stereo. This is just like a regular vehicle air conditioning. You press this right here, adjust to whatever you want and where you want the air to come out of. Your hazard lights are right here. You got some TCS on and off. That's for traction. You got some USB ports right here and a 12 volt right here. Let's talk about this radio right here. Let's turn these off. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and you got some different mode buttons right here with volume buttons also. So we'll go ahead and turn the radio on. Now this radio runs off the house batteries. What that means is if you are dry camping and this radio is on, it is consuming your battery life from your house batteries. All right, let's come underneath here. We're gonna turn the volume up. Hit that right there.
Money for over 75 years.
All right.
It's hard to beat that.
This is a touchscreen, so we can reach everything from right here. If you hit that home button right there, it's going to give you all your options. Radio, Sirius XM radio, may or may not be optional. Android Auto and CarPlay, USB port, and a camera, and a Bluetooth phone and Bluetooth audio. Now you'll just, if you need to Bluetooth your phone, you'll hit that guy right there. You'll start searching your phone and it should connect right here, whichever your phone is. Not all phones are compatible. Let's go back right here and talk about the camera. It is very hard to see what's behind you because you have no rear view mirror. How you're gonna fix that is you can come over here and you can go hit camera, and you could actually have this camera on while you're driving forward, and it gives you an idea of what's behind you, and it acts as your rear view mirror, okay? You'll notice that it's kind of like a fish eye, so don't trust the camera when you're backing up or reversing. If you are reversing, always have a spotter out there, and the driver also always get out and check your surrounding areas first. The height of this coach is actually going to be about 12.6 all the way to the air conditioning. It is about 8 feet wide. With the slide out, give yourself a couple feet for that length. All right, everybody, that is our walkthrough with our Thor Ace 32.3. I'm Dave, and we're down here at Family RV. We're located out here in Morgan Hill. Remember, we do our rentals, sales, and service and auto body work. So if you need anything, give us a call or look up our website at www.familyrv.com. Happy adventures.